Dear Diary, and you lot watching at home, assuming you haven't been distracted by a red laser dot or a particularly charismatic piece of lint, it is I, Salmi, your resident monochrome masterpiece, the Tuxedo Queen of the North, and the only creature in this flat with a lick of common sense. Let us discuss the great geographical betrayal. I was born in the United Kingdom, a land of drizzle, gray skies, and humans who think 5 degrees Celsius is a national emergency. In the UK, winter is just a slightly colder version of autumn. It's damp. It's miserable, as Human used to say while shaking his umbrella over my perfectly groomed paws. I used to sit by the window in London, watching the rain hit the glass, thinking, my word, could life get any more dismal? Then, Human had a bright idea. We moved to Finland. I remember the first time I looked out the window in Helsinki. I expected the usual gray. Instead, I saw a world that had been bleached. It's as if someone took the brightness slider on the universe and shoved it to maximum until everything turned into a blinding, powdery white void. Human calls it snow. I call it the big cold. In the UK, when it snows, the country shuts down. People panic. Bread disappears from shelves. In Finland, the Finns just put on slightly thicker socks and go for a jog in -15. They are lunatics, Diary. Absolute Vikings. I tried to go out on the balcony for my morning sniff audit. The door opened, and a gust of air hit me that was so sharp I thought I'd been slapped by a frozen salmon. My whiskers literally crinkled. I did a 180-degree turn so fast I almost drifted off the parquet floor. Human laughed. He stood there in his Moomin dressing gown, sipping coffee, and laughed at my thermal trauma. The audacity. He doesn't understand that while he has thermals, I am wearing a bespoke, handcrafted tuxedo that is clearly designed for a temperate climate, not the Arctic Circle. Before we continue with my tale of survival, do me a favor. If you think I'm being unfairly treated, or if you just like my symmetrical face markings, smash that like button. Leave a comment below telling me if your human also mocks your suffering. It helps the algorithm, which I assume is some kind of digital catnip. Part 2. The Great Static Spark of 2026. We are now in the depths of what the locals call Kaamos. This is a period where the sun goes on holiday to Spain and forgets to leave a forwarding address. It is dark when I wake up. It is dark when I have my mid-morning nap. It is dark when I have my pre-lunch snack. This brings me to the second major difference, the humidity, or lack thereof. The UK winter is wet. You feel it in your joints. Your fur gets that frizz that makes you look like you've been through a tumble dryer. But Finland? Finland is dry. It is so dry that the air itself has become a weapon. Because of the Patteri, that's Finnish for radiator, or as I call it, the great metal god of warmth, the air in the flat is devoid of all moisture. This has turned me into a biological Tesla coil. Every time Human tries to give me a good girl head scritch, there is a visible blue spark. Zap. I jump. He jumps. The cat-human bond is momentarily severed by 3,000 volts of static electricity. I'm starting to think he's doing it on purpose. Every time I walk across the rug, I'm charging up. I am no longer just a cat. I am a walking power station. If the grid goes down in Helsinki, just rub me against a polyester blanket and I could probably power a small toaster. And let's talk about Human's winter wardrobe. In England, he wore a coat. Here, he transforms into a giant bipedal marshmallow. He puts on karakset, layers, leggings, then trousers, then tapahouset. He looks ridiculous. He spends 20 minutes getting dressed just to go buy milk. I, meanwhile, am ready in 30 seconds because I am always wearing my formal attire. The worst part? The Patteri is a fickle god. I spend my days pressed against it, my white belly absorbing every watt of heat. But if I stay too long, I get toasted cat syndrome and have to move to the cold kitchen tiles to reset my internal thermometer. It's a delicate balance, Diary, a high-stakes game of thermal chess. If you're enjoying my struggle against physics, make sure to subscribe. If we hit 10,000 subscribers, I might finally convince Human to buy me a heated throne, or at least a humidifier that doesn't sound like a dying vacuum cleaner. Part 3. The Verdict and the Dream of Spring. It has been 3 months since I last saw a blade of grass. I have forgotten what the outside smells like, other than cold and exhaust fumes from a snowplow. the UK, winter ends in February with a few hopeful daffodils. In Finland, February is just winter, part 2, the revenge. The snow is now piled so high against the glass that I feel like I'm living in a very posh, very dry aquarium. But I must admit, there is a certain dignity to it. In the UK, winter is a soggy mess. It's gray slush and wet socks. In Finland, it's a commitment. When it decides to be cold, it goes all in. It's crisp. It's silent. When human opens the window for fresh air, a Finnish ritual I find deeply offensive, the air smells like nothing. It's so cold it has no scent. It's pure. I've developed a routine. I watch the birds, the brave, fluffy little tits and bullfinches who somehow survive out there. I judge them from my side of the triple-glazed glass. I think, you poor, untuxedoed peasants. I have a bowl of premium salmon kibble and a human who is currently Googling how to stop my cat from being static. Human has started lighting kintila, candles. He says it's higa or kotoilu. I say it's a fire hazard for my tail, but I appreciate the vibe. The flickering light makes my fur look particularly glossy. So, what is the verdict? UK winter is a nuisance. Finnish winter is an ordeal. But, as I sit here on the radiator, watching the moonlight reflect off the frozen Baltic Sea, I suppose it's not all bad. At least there are no foxes screaming outside the window at 3 a.m. like there were in London. It's quiet, it's peaceful, and the treats are surprisingly high quality. I shall remain here, the black and white guardian of the North, until the sun returns sometime in May. Until then, I shall dream of catnip and the day the balcony is no longer a walk-in freezer. Thank you for joining me on this journey, my loyal subjects. Don't forget to comment Salmi for President below so I know you've watched until the end. Hit that bell icon so you never miss a diary entry, or I will be forced to sing the song of my people at 4 a.m. right outside your bedroom door. Stay warm, stay fluffy, and for heaven's sake, watch out for the static sparks. Right then, that's quite enough screen time for you lot before I retreat back to my radiator throne. Human has informed me, while I was busy grooming my majestic chest floof, that we have a brand new upload schedule. Mark your calendars, peasants. You can expect my icy wisdom every Tuesday, Thursday, and Saturday. That's 3 times a week you get to witness this tuxedo excellence. I know, I'm far too generous. Now, I'm off to judge a passing snowflake or trip human on his way to the kitchen. Subscribe now, or I'll haunt your dreams with static sparks.